let's go back on Fruit Street for a moment. Let's talk about some of the business side. At what year did it start coming together, and what was that aha moment where you said, this is going to be my future. This is how I'm going to help society.
Well, it started out when I was working in the emergency room and taking that nutrition epidemiology course.
That's when you had that moment, as you mentioned earlier in the show.
Right, and I was actually doing something else at the same time, which is that I was volunteering for an education nonprofit called Learn to Be that provides free online video tutoring for K through 12 students. And so very similar to telemedicine with a healthcare provider, except for education. And so I thought, why don't we take that video conferencing technology and apply it to healthcare? But then, you saw all these wearable devices coming out at Best Buy, you had the Apple Watch, and I thought, well, hey, why don't we monitor these devices and go over it with patients through video conferencing? And so that was really kind of like the aha moment when everything was put together.
Fascinating. Now, let's talk about, again, to stay on the business side of things. In doing the research, I noted, and I hope this is not sensitive information, that you had 200 physicians that invested in your startup. Obviously, there's big startup costs here, that gave you over $8 million into Fruit Street. So I guess my question is, why did you choose to go with physicians as opposed to going the VC route, venture capitalists?
Well, I actually had a previous startup before Fruit Street that was called Prevently, and it was a similar concept, and I had recruited some physicians from Harvard Medical School to be investors. I recruited some Harvard Business School alumni to be investors, and ended up taking time off from school and moving to San Francisco to work on it. And at that point, we tried to raise traditional venture capital money and had some of those traditional investors. And I just found that they were almost too financially driven for a healthcare business. That, really the reason I started the company was to have a social impact. And so when we started Fruit Street, we said we're going to be a public benefit corporation. So what that means is that we're for profit, but we write our social mission into our bylaws, which is to prevent and treat lifestyle-related disease using technology. And so I thought, well, who's the perfect investor for that? It's really a physician, because they're not just going to be investing to get a return on investment. They have patients that have this condition that they really want to improve patient outcomes. And then on top of that, the physicians are going to give you better advice in terms of your product design, your business model, than a venture capitalist, in my opinion, because they're seeing patients every day. They have a medical degree. And so I thought, let's make this more of a grassroots movement of physicians that want to improve healthcare with technology. And even if we needed to raise, $25 million, which is not a huge amount for a startup like this, well, why not have 500 physicians be the investors rather than, one venture capital firm? And we'll have this network of supporters as well.
It's so interesting, folks. You're listening to Laurence here. He's 25 years old. He's got a lot of brains. And here he shared something which is very important to keep in mind. If you're looking for funding, so of course there are venture capitalists out there and investors, it's true. But there is a great case to be made to approach people that are familiar with your industry and also would have a vested interest in the cause.
They might even be your customer and use the product.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
So because many people may not realize that. It may have come natural to you to see that, but I could so see someone saying, okay, venture capitalists or people or bank or I'll go to a bank, etc. But to say, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, doctors want to see people healthy.
Right.
They want to see. I'll go to them. It's really a fascinating takeaway. How has, if I may ask, how has that route gone? Meaning, as far as approaching doctors, has it been a difficult journey convincing them, or is it, or they kind of get it and come on board willingly?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of get it. I mean, every day we have 3 or 4 physicians that contact us about learning more just through, social media.
3 or 4 every day.
Yeah. I mean, we've had thousands of physicians contact us just by using social media to, reach out to them. And we tell them, hey, download our technology. We'll do an hour call with you and kind of explain everything. And we just use the product to do our investor meeting. We don't even have to meet in person anymore. They're all over the country. We have them in even Europe. We have some in Singapore. And it's just a very geographically diverse group of physicians. They're in 15 different medical specialties. And we also don't just look at them as a source of money. We've actually set up a online advisory board forum where every week they're giving us input and giving us feedback. I think a lot of entrepreneurs make this mistake of just taking the investor check and then they don't talk for a year, but they're actively our business partners in this and giving us input.
As we bring the interview to a close, Laurence, maybe you could share a final takeaway for the listeners of Mind Your Business.
Sure, I'll share one business takeaway and one health takeaway.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
so
cute. Go for it.
On the business side, I would say don't just look at a company as a way to make money. I mean, a company is really a group of people that delivers a product or service that solves a problem for someone else. And so start to look at business as a way to solve problems for society, and even consider becoming a public benefit corporation so that you write the social mission into your actual bylaws to make it so center to everything that you do. And then the second takeaway on the health side is that you can't take your money with you, right? So you only have one life. And so look at your life and say, maybe you have some money or whatever, but are you really happy? And maybe part of it is your lifestyle. And don't work all the time. Really just say, I need to focus on my health as well, and also the health of your employees and your family, because the famous entrepreneur Gary Vaynerchuk says, if the 6 people in his life are healthy, he's happy. But if one of those people has a problem, then all the money in the world can't fix that. So really just remember that health is the most important thing far and beyond money or business success.
I love the honor of interviewing C-level executives and sharing their great advice and perspective on Mind Your Business. I'd love to get your feedback. Post it in the comments below and subscribe. You'll never miss an edition of Mind Your Business.